Jeff, are you there, sir?
I'm here.
Good morning.
Are you, sir?
We are terrific. Thanks for joining us again.
Sure.
Good morning, Chicago.
Good morning.
There she is.
Good morning, Chicago.
This morning, I think we are going to be talking about the dreaded I word.
Yes, we can talk about inflation.
Oh dear.
And it's not as bad as it seems yet.
Oh, thank you.
You had to throw in the yet.
Oh no, wait.
Come on.
Stop. You had it. You had it right.
Yeah.
Tell us what is causing. Everyone seems to be saying, and you said it yourself here last week.
Yeah.
Inflation is inevitable.
It is inevitable.
And tell us, in brief terms, why.
Well, because of the actions of central bankers throughout the world. So they've basically printed money, and so there's an excess supply of money, and that causes the value of the current dollars that you hold in your wallet and bank account to decrease in value. But I want to make an important point. The amount of inflation that you're reading about in the papers worldwide, and you're seeing, people marching in the streets because wheat prices are too high in some countries or whatever. That inflation is not caused by central bankers, but it's really caused by the weather. And so this year's inflation can be totally chalked up to weather patterns throughout the world rather than the actions of central bankers. I think the actions of central bankers, that type of inflation that we had, in the late 70s in the United States, if anybody's old enough to remember that. Mike and I are.
I'm not.
Cut it
Absolutely. No.
Gina was a child bride.
Right. but that won't hit us probably until after the end of next year. So it takes a while for that to work its way through the system, and that type of inflation will come, but it's just going to take some time.
Jeff,
the money has to turn over. So,
do you believe that we're going to be looking at in this country late 70s Carter era double-digit inflation again?
I don't know that we'll have double-digit inflation, but we could if the Fed lets it get out of control and other factors in the world push it up. So, back in the 70s, China was still a closed economy. You still had communist Iron Curtain, so that decreased worldwide demand for products and made it tougher for trade to happen. And now with the BRIC countries, India, China, Brazil, coming up and raising their standards of living, it's increased worldwide demand combined with the fact that the Iron Curtain is no longer there. And it's a lot easier to trade with those countries, so that's increased their demand for worldwide goods.
Well, let me ask you two questions. It's the same question, but one's macro, one's micro. If you were the boss in Washington, if you were the boss in Washington,
a benevolent dictator, yes,
your dream come true. In other words, what could you do to stave off or to mitigate the coming inflation? What move would you make?
Well, the thing I wouldn't have done was QE2 and an easy dollar policy. So what I would do is I would raise interest rates in the short term right now. And I think there's a big debate among these fancy economists about that.
Wait a minute. What's QE2? Are you talking about Queen Elizabeth?
Oh, sorry. That's,
what are you talking about?
Quantitative.
That's yes, I'm sorry. That's what's called quantitative ease. And all the Fed did was they bought back U.S. Treasuries, which creates more dollars in circulation, deflating the value of current dollars. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, I would not have done that, and I would raise short-term rates to maybe some level of like 0.25%, 0.5%, and that will cause the dollar to increase in value, making them more valuable. And then the other thing I would do is I would really cut government spending big time and decrease taxes at the same time to try to spur economic growth and grow my way out of the budget deficit rather than inflate my way out of the budget deficit. But growth is a lot tougher than inflation, so governments always choose to inflate.
Well, here's part two, and I'm going to give you 60 seconds on this one.
All right, I'll try.
That was the macro. Here's the micro.
Right.
What can families, especially families in Michigan,
right?
What can families do to hedge off that inflation, make it less painful?
Yeah, I think you're going to see the price of clothing go up. So if you've delayed some purchases for just some basic necessities, you might want to go out and buy them. I remember in the 70s, we bought a huge freezer and bought a cow and put it in there. Not the whole cow, but I mean, butcher. You can buy a side of beef or you can buy a whole, because meat prices are going to go up. And it sounds trite or sort of stupid, is, if you can can some food, can some goods, that's one way to do it. And some of it you're not going to be able to avoid at all, though, because prices are going to go up. And, you can't store, there's no storable items. The other thing you can do, like we were talking, kids' education, if you're close to college and you know that where your child really wants to go, and you can lock in tuition rates, lock them in. Any way you can lock in future prices to today's numbers, do it. I would not buy gold. I would not buy silver, because you're going to pay retail, and it'll be a mess getting out of it. You can't eat gold and you can't wear it unless it's jewelry. So it's really it's like a sexy investment for everybody, but it's not a good investment for the average person.
Right. Well, okay. You were just under your 60 seconds, so I'm awfully proud of you.
And I just want you to know, Jeff, a friend of mine just sent me a text message and said that she's buying a cow right now.
Really?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to go long beef futures at the Mercantile Exchange.
Go long beef, Jeff. Jeff Carter, thanks again. Always, he joins us with just the right stuff when we need it. He is the author of pointsandfigures.com, a worthwhile read. Jeffrey, thank you. We'll see you next Saturday.
All right, I'm looking across the lake at you. I'm waiting for the sun to come up here. So.
We'll do our best. Have a great day.
All right, see ya.